forces eliminate scores of terrorists in the countryside of Aleppo, Idleb and Hama. The Syrian Arab army takes control of new strategic positions and continues to advance towards Kasab. The Syrian and Armenian communities in Romania denounced the crimes of the terrorist groups against civilians in Kasab. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Yerado Krikorian with the news in English. Arab media supporting the terrorist groups broadcast hysterical fabricated news about the infiltration of terrorist groups into different western areas in Aleppo, especially al-Zahra, al-Hamadaniya and Halab al-Jadida. Our TV camera made a tour in these areas, and especially near al-Maliya intersection, which the groups claimed to have captured, although it is still under the full control of the Syrian Arab army in al-Zahra area. It's worth mentioning that terrorist groups have been trying over the last 3 days to break into these areas, firing mortar shells on civilian population, killing at least 14 people. The Syrian Arab army retaliated, inflicting heavy losses upon them. In Aleppo, the Syrian Arab army has intercepted an attempt by the terrorists to attack Al-Amiriya district near Salah ad-Din quarter, killing scores of them. In Idlib, the Syrian Arab army eliminated dozens of armed men and injured others in Al-Khazanat neighborhood in Khan Sheikhoun, in the southern outskirts of the city. The Syrian Arab army units also targeted terrorist gangs near Ma'arrat al-Nu'man and in Abu Duhur, killing and wounding a large number of them. In Hama suburbs, several armed men were killed or wounded by a Syrian Arab army unit who had foiled their infiltration attempt near Tal Wassit in Al-Ghab Plain province. The Syrian Arab army has restored security and stability to Rankous in Damascus suburbs and cleared the area of terrorists. The military operation, which was conducted with a high degree of precision due to the mountainous nature of the area, took place along two axes. The first was in the mountains surrounding Rankous, which witnessed violent clashes, and the second in the hills looking over the Halboun spot. The Syrian Arab army had taken control of Rankous, Ma'loula, Yabrud and al-Nabak near the Lebanese borders. A large number of terrorists, mostly from Jabhat al-Nusra, have been eliminated. The Syrian Arab army continues to pursue terrorists and destroy their hideouts in Rankous and the villages surrounding it, to clear them of terrorists and their crimes and to restore security and stability to the whole area of Al-Qalamoun. After restoring the strategic site of 45 Point, the highest in Kasab Mountains, Syrian Arab army has taken control of Al-Haramiya mountain, killing and wounding dozens of terrorists. The Syrian Arab army's control of the high mountains enabled it to target the terrorist gangs in the towns of Al-Shajara, Al-Nabain, Kasab and the forests of Sadiran mountain. The terrorists resort to media fabrications in order to blackmail their supporters, who are sending them Tau missiles from both Turkey and Saudi Arabia. The harsh terrains of the area, which is covered by wild forests, have made the progress of military operations relatively slow, but the Syrian Arab army resorted to new tactics in order to target the terrorist gatherings who rely on Turkish intelligence. The Syrian Arab army operations resulted in the killing of scores of terrorists, including Chechens and Afghans. Turkish newspapers have confirmed the authenticity of the photo which showed the Turkish former Minister of Justice, the Justice and Development Party candidate for the province of Antioch in the municipal elections, Saadallah Ergin, together with terrorist Rami Qura Ali, a Takfiri group leader in Syria. The photo had appeared within a report published by the Turkish Soul Daily on the 16th of December last year, in which the paper exposed a joint plan by Ergin and terrorist Qura Ali to carry out offensive operations in Latakia countryside. The report said Ergin and Qura Ali had met in the Justice and Development Party's private bureau in the city of Antioch and prepared plans for terrorist operations in northern Syria, the most recent of which was the aggression on Kasab. The paper pointed out that the purpose of the meeting was to attack villages in Latakia countryside in coordination with terrorists in the Turkman mountain, who have been accorded special support by the Turkish intelligence. According to several Turkish sources, Minister Ergin and terrorist Qura Ali have received logistic support by the Justice and Development Party to commit more massacres against the people of the villages of Latakia northern suburbs. The Syrian Arab community and their national institutions in Romania have organized, together with the Armenian community and the European Front in solidarity with Syria, a mass rally in the Triumph Square in the Romanian capital Bucharest in support of President Bashar al-Assad and the Syrian Arab army, and in rejection of all forms of terrorism Syria has been exposed to, the last of which was the flagrant aggression launched on Kasab and neighboring villages by the armed Takfiri terrorist gangs supported by the government of Erdogan. The mass rally started at 4 p.m. and continued for 2 hours. The participants hoisted national flags and raised the president's photos and placards, shouting national slogans that expressed their support for Syria and its army and their allegiance to President Bashar al-Assad in leading Syria and confronting the acts of aggression and terrorism perpetrated by the Takfiri terrorist gangs, who have been supported by some Arab and Western states, particularly by the Turkish Justice and Development Party government headed by Erdogan. Welcome back. The Lebanese Maronite Patriarch Cardinal Mar Boutros al-Ra'i called for electing a president according to a general consensus. Patriarch al-Ra'i said, "We support a specific candidate who enjoys a high sense of morality and someone who truly believes in the Lebanese state and can improve the country's regional and international relations with the outside world." Al-Ra'i ruled out electing a president who is affiliated with 8 or 14 of the March forces so that he can solve the different crises in the country, pursuing an objective course. Finally, Egyptian security forces captured a terrorist group which included 18 members, all of them affiliated with the terrorist Muslim Brotherhood, during a secret meeting in the city of Itay el-Barud in al-Buhaira Governorate. Major Colonel Muhammad Tahoun, the top security official in al-Buhaira, said that the security forces found papers and CDs which show the group's future plans. Meanwhile, Egyptian security forces arrested 22 members belonging to the Muslim Brotherhood in 6 different cities. They also confiscated more than 480 guns in the last 24 hours. With this, we end our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region, and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Karun Kürkcan, but after a short break.